I'm Callum Brown for 74XX, here to introduce version 2 of my Turbo LED upgrade kits, now available for purchase. These kits replace the fake gauges on Sega Turbo Cabaret arcade machines with active LED indicators for speed and engine RPM. The signals for these measurements are generated on all turbo soundboards, but were only used on the cockpit model. The housings are 3D printed in matte black PLA, and the kit includes custom circuit boards with brightness matched LEDs, acrylic lenses, and a wiring harness that means installing the kit requires no modification of any circuitry. This video will also serve as the installation guide for the kit, so let's begin. Included in the kit are the 2 gauges, 2 retainer plates, 2 LED driver boards, 2 amber LED bulbs, 12 3/4-inch screws, and the wiring harness. Turn off your game and unplug the machine. Remove the back panel from the machine. Follow the wiring from the control panel to find 2 connectors. One is a 12-pin Molex connector. Disconnect this one. The other is a 2-pin connector for the lighting. Also disconnect this one. Use a T40 security bit to remove the 2 bolts on the front of the control panel. Open the coin door and unlatch the 2 latches that are holding on the control panel. Carefully remove the control panel by lifting up and ensure that wires do not get snagged on the way out. Set the control panel down on a clear surface. Choose one of the 2 sides and start by removing the instrument light by twisting. Then remove the instrument lighting board by unscrewing the single screw. Be careful not to lose the spacer underneath. Then, using a nut driver, undo the nut that is holding on the gauge and drop the gauge at the bottom. Then unscrew the 2 screws holding in the bracket. Repeat this on the other gauge. Choose which gauge you want to go in which side. I chose to put the speedometer in the left side. Insert the gauges from the front using pressure on the bezel to insert them. Do not pinch the tabs on the back of the gauge as they can break. Flip the control panel back over and then insert the retainer plates on the back of the gauges. They only fit on one way, so be careful to check the size of the tabs and line them up. Again, do not pinch the tabs to get the plates on, as it's possible to break them. You can rotate the assembly to gain better access to the screw holes. Use 2 of the included 3/4-inch screws to attach the gauges to the retainer plates. Now rotate the assembly to get the gauges straight up. There are 3 options for securing the assembly to the control panel. The first option is to leave it as is, although the gauges may be rotatable from the front. The second option is to screw in the screws just enough to bite into the wooden control panel. This will prevent the gauges from rotating from the front of the control panel and doesn't require extra holes to be drilled into the control panel. The third option is to fully secure the assembly to the control panel. Before doing this, I recommend putting painter's tape or something similar over the gauge so that you don't get wood particles in the gauge. Mark a 532 drill bit at a 3/4-inch depth and drill through the 4 mounting holes up to the mark that you made. This is only about 1/4 inch into the wood. Then screw in 4 3/4-inch screws. Once you have secured the assembly, you can insert an LED driver board. The boards can only be inserted one way and are guided by slots in the retainer plate, and the components on the board should be facing up towards the top of the control panel. Next, locate the lamp holders you removed earlier and remove the incandescent lamp, and insert the included LED lamp. These are made to run a lot cooler so they don't melt the plastic assembly. Reinsert the lighting board at this angle and use a drill bit to mark a spot on the control panel to drill a new hole. Drill a new hole with a 332 or 564 drill bit at a 1/4 inch depth. Insert the screw from the top and the standoff from the bottom and attach this to the control panel. Repeat on the other side. Assembly of the gauges should now be complete on both sides. Next, take the wiring harness and locate the two 3-pin connectors marked T and S. Attach the T to the tachometer and the S to the speedometer boards. Place the control panel back in the machine, being careful to route all the wires through to the back. From the rear of the machine, undo the wing nuts at the bottom of the PCB holder and remove the bracket. Remove connector E from the main PCB and connectors F, H, and the ribbon cable from the soundboard. Remove the soundboard, locate the 4 dip switches and turn on dip switch 3. Replace the soundboard and reconnect all connectors. Then replace the PCB bracket and tighten the wing nuts. Locate the 6-pin connector from the wiring harness marked G and insert it to the G connector on the soundboard. It is keyed so it can only go in one way. Next, reconnect the 12-pin connector from the control panel and the 2-pin connector from the lighting from the control panel. Next, locate the 4-pin connector that goes to the coin counter. This is typically located next to the coin box. Disconnect these two 4-pin connectors and connect them to the connectors on the included wiring harness. They can only be connected one way. At this point, I recommend turning on dip switch bank 1 switch 5. By doing this, collisions in the game are disabled and both gauges will reach their maximum signal level quickly. Plug your machine back in and turn it on and look for activity. Once the demo starts, the gauges should spring to life. On each LED driver board, you will see 2 potentiometers that are next to each other. This controls the upper and lower bank brightness. The third potentiometer controls the upper signal level. The lower bank is the first 10 LEDs on the left side, and the upper bank is the upper 10 LEDs on the right side. While making adjustments, you might see some strange activity such as fading LEDs. This is normal while the screwdriver bit is close to the board and will go away when you take your screwdriver away. Once your adjustments have been made, you can relatch the control panel and secure the control panel with the T40 screws on the front of the machine. Be sure to turn off dip switch bank 1 switch 5 if you turned it on for testing. Otherwise, your game will have no collisions and you'll be very confused at how well you're doing. And that's all. I hope you enjoy your Turbo LED Gauge upgrade kit.